We have studied the uniform circular motion, and now the question arises, what is the acceleration of the object while moving along a circular path, and what is the name of that acceleration? That acceleration is known as centripetal acceleration. When a body moves in a circular path with a constant speed, then the motion of the object is known as uniform circular motion. You know it very well. In this case of uniform circular motion, the speed of the body remains constant, but the direction of the motion of body changes continuously. Thus, the velocity of the body changes continuously. The change in velocity of the body gives rise to an acceleration. You know it? So, the motion of the body moving in a circular path is known as accelerated motion. Now, how can you will define the acceleration? The acceleration of a body having uniform circular motion is called centripetal acceleration. Centripetal means the center seeking towards the center. It means the direction of centripetal acceleration of a particle is always towards the center of the circular path. We will calculate it in the next slides. Now we shall find the magnitude of the centripetal acceleration of the body of mass m moving along a circular path of radius r. Now consider, initially the object is at point P here, and after a very small time, that is delta t, a very small time change, the particle is at point Q. The velocity at point P is like this, and at point Q the velocity is like this. Now we can redraw these velocities here. This AB is representing V1 parallel to this vector V1, and this V2 is represented along AC. So the change in their position is what? This is BC, the change in their position. How this change can be calculated? Dear students, if one vector is like this, having direction along this, the second vector is like this, having direction along this, the closing side gives us the resultant. So from here we can calculate the change in velocity, and that change in velocity is found to be V2 minus V1, that is equal to delta V. In the similar circular path, we have one more situation here. What is that? If the object was at point P, after a very small time it is at point Q, it is tracing an angle delta theta during this small interval. You know it, and this is known as angular displacement. Now these two triangles are equivalent to each other. Which two triangles? One triangle for the velocity, which I have drawn here, and the second triangle which you are observing in the center of circle, inside the circle, and that is for the displacement. Now we will compare the quantities in two similar triangles. What will be there? This PQ, here you are having PQ like this. This PQ, the arc PQ and the dotted line PQ, they are almost similar because the length of the arc is very small. It is shown to you a very large for the clarity, but it is very small. Delta theta angle is very small. So we can have that the arc PQ and the dotted line PQ are same. So this PQ divided by the radius vector. This PQ divided by the radius vector OP. Here in this second triangle, it will be equivalent to, the PQ is this change. So this is BC and divide by the radius vector, which is equivalent to V1. So you can write it as BC divided by AB. And this equation, putting the values. One more thing students here, in uniform circular motion, the magnitude of velocity is kept constant, that is speed. and the direction is changing. So we can write here that V1 is almost equal to V2 and that is almost equal to V. This note you can write exactly equal because there is a change in direction. So you will write it as V. Put these values here. You will have, by putting values here, you will have PQ as delta S, OP as R, BC as delta V and AB as V. By putting these equation and further we will solve like this. After rearranging, you will have dV is equal to V by R into delta S. Dividing both sides by delta T, what you will have delta V by delta T, V by R and delta S by delta T. Now this value is representing you the average value, so change it to the instantaneous value. In the previous lecture I have told you what is instantaneous value, the value which is for a very small interval of time. And for this what we will do, we will take the limit delta t tends to 0. It means the value, the time is very small and that is approximately near to 1, not near to 0, not exactly 0, but it is very near to 0. So putting the limits, what will have, the delta will be converted into d, that is the instantaneous value, and we can write it here by putting the limits. Limit delta t tends to 0, delta v by delta t is equal to v by r into delta s by delta t, and limit t tends to 0. The next equation becomes dv by dt is equal to v by r into ds by dt. Here this dv by dt is the centripetal acceleration and this ds by dt is the velocity. So we can write it as the centripetal acceleration AC is equal to v square by r. This is also known as the radial acceleration because the radial means the acceleration or the quantity acting towards the radius, that is known as radial, and acting towards the center, that's why it is known as centripetal acceleration. Now the important points regarding to the centripetal acceleration which you have to remember, that is the centripetal acceleration is valid only when theta is in radian. Next, when the magnitude of velocity is constant but the direction is continuously changes. If the magnitude of velocity is not constant, then this is not the uniform circular motion, then it becomes non-uniform circular motion. That's why the centripetal acceleration is valid only for the constant magnitude of velocity. And the third one is, from the expression it is visible to you that acceleration is v square by r, so it is related to the radius, that is to the distance of particle from the center. It depends on the radius of the circle, of the circular path also.
From the figure, it is clear that the particle's velocity is along the tangent to the circle, and a force is responsible to move this particle along the circular path, and that force is acting towards the center. That is known as centripetal force, and that force generates the acceleration towards the center itself. Hence, you can say this centripetal acceleration is at 90 degree to the velocity vector, and the direction of this centripetal acceleration is determined by the right hand thumb rule. What right hand thumb rule says? Right hand thumb rule says that if the curl of our finger represent, this is the curl of finger, represent the anti-clockwise direction motion, then the thumb represent the direction of centripetal acceleration towards the center. Here you can see the picture, one more picture here. If this is the velocity of the particle and we are applying a force towards the center, what will happen? The particle will move along this direction. Again we will apply the force towards the center, the particle will deviate and it will move like this. Again we are applying a force towards the center, the particle will deviate. Hence there is a change velocity, that the direction is changing, that's why the velocity is changing. This change in velocity is due to the direction only. The magnitude of this velocity is constant and this kind of motion is responsible for its circular path. Hence this force which is applied to move the body along the circular path is the centripetal force generating the centripetal acceleration. Now question arises, if here I have told you this dv, the velocity is, magnitude is constant but direction is changing. What will happen if this direction is also changing? This velocity magnitude is also changing with the direction. What will happen? That kind of acceleration is known as tangential acceleration. What is that tangential acceleration? This is the circular path. The body is moving along the circular path. Initially v1 is the velocity and after some time the velocity is v2. Here this v2 is greater than v1. The velocity, the magnitude of velocities are different. In that case the acceleration is known as tangential acceleration, that is acting along the tangent, and this is simply given by the rate of change of velocity. This is the linear velocity along the tangent and the value of this v is r omega. Put the value of v in this expression, d by dt of r omega.
Now, after putting the value of this r omega, we will have to apply the product function for the differentiation. What the product function says, according to the product function, the r omega is the product value. According to this function, r first function as it is, differentiation of second, that is omega, plus second function as it is, omega into differentiation of first function. As you all know that the radius of the circle is always a constant, so a constant value have zero differentiation and the second term becomes 0 and first term you have r into d omega by dt. And now this d omega by dt is the angular acceleration, and you will write it as at, that is the tangential acceleration, is equal to r into alpha. This is the acceleration along the tangent. Now if we have to calculate the net acceleration, because there are two acceleration I have told you. One is the centripetal acceleration, that is acting towards the center, and another one is the tangential acceleration acting towards the tangent. Now students, this is visible to you that both the acceleration are perpendicular to each other. Now if one vector is like this and another vector is like this, then their resultant is given by along the parallelogram law by their diagonal, and similarly we will calculate the acceleration and that will comes out along the circle. And if both two vectors are perpendicular to each other, then there is a formula for the calculation of the resultant. Here you will calculate the net acceleration. This a is the net acceleration along the circular path, that is equal to the sum of square of the tangential acceleration and the radial acceleration. You can find it easily. And the next one is the centripetal force. What is centripetal force? The force which is responsible for the object to move it in a circle. This is always acting towards the center. Let me tell you one thing, that this centripetal force is not the actual force acting in nature, because this is a fictitious force. You can calculate only the formula for its calculation. Why this is so? Let me tell you some examples, that when you are having a stone tied to the string and you are moving it in a circular path, what will happen? The centripetal force is provided by the string, that is the tension force in the string. Here the nature is different. Secondly, if an electron is moving around a nucleus, what will happen? the nucleus will have the proton, and the proton having positive charge attracts the electron, and the electron is moving in a circular path. Here the centripetal force is provided by the protons. And if you talk about the planets moving around sun, then they are bound with each other by the gravitational force. Here the centripetal force is provided by the gravitational force. Hence you can say the nature, the kind is every time changing, and you can say the centripetal force is not the actual force existing in nature, but you can calculate its value depending on the situation. Here the expression for the centripetal force, what is this? You know students, the formula for force is the mass into acceleration. If the body is moving in a circle, then its velocity is its velocity is v, and its acceleration is the centripetal acceleration, that is AC, that is v square by r. Put the value of v, that is omega r. You can also have the value for centripetal acceleration is a, that is r omega square. The force is mass into acceleration. Put the value of acceleration here. You can have in terms of linear velocity, you have the value mv square by r, or in terms of the angular velocity, you have the value mr omega square. Now this is all about the centripetal acceleration and centripetal force. In the next lecture, we will study about the motion of the bodies along a curved path. You can say the motion of a cyclist along the curved path.